Dear colleagues and fellow seekers of wisdom, welcome to our final week in this journey through Proverbs. Over the past sessions, we have explored the beauty, structure, theology, and practical application of this profound book. Now we arrive at what is perhaps the most sensitive and demanding part of our study, interpreting the difficult texts, the Proverbs that challenge us ethically, culturally, and pastorally. Proverbs promises wisdom, but not always comfort. It confronts us with ancient worldviews, hierarchical assumptions, and moral assertions that can clash with modern ethical norms. But this is not a reason to avoid these texts. It is an invitation to wrestle with them honestly and responsibly. When Proverbs feels hard to preach, let us begin with a few familiar yet troubling verses. Whoever spares the rod hates their children. 13:24. A wife of noble character is worth far more than rubies. 31:10ff. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors. 14:20. These passages raise real pastoral concerns. Do we still commend corporal punishment? How do we teach Proverbs 31 without reducing womanhood to domestic labor? How do we reconcile sayings about poverty with a gospel of justice and mercy? These are not academic problems alone. They touch the lives of real people in our pews, classrooms, and counseling rooms. The stakes are high, but the tools of wisdom such as discernment, patience, context, humility can guide us through. This week, we lean into ethical hermeneutics. That means asking not only, what did this text mean then, but also, what does this text require of us now? Some guiding principles include understanding ancient Near Eastern family structures, gender expectations, and justice systems. Reading Proverbs in light of Jesus' teachings, the prophetic cry for justice, and the kingdom ethic of the New Testament. Acknowledging how a proverb may land differently depending on gender, race, or class. Interpreting Proverbs in light of the redemptive arc of Scripture, from law to grace. Proverbs does not intend to give us a rigid moral code. It offers patterns, probabilities, and divine insight for reflection and adaptation. Let's explore a few arenas where Proverbs intersects with contemporary debates. 1. Parenting styles and discipline. The rod has too often been used to justify harm, but many scholars argue that in ancient wisdom literature, the rod symbolized firm guidance and correction, not abuse. Today, we can apply Proverbs' heart, discipline as love, not violence, within frameworks of child development, trauma-informed care, and nurturing strength. 2. Gender equality and Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 is often seen as a template for the ideal woman, but when read closely, it's also a celebration of female agency, business acumen, and social leadership. When interpreted wisely, this passage can inspire both women and men toward excellence, not enforce outdated roles. 3. Wealth disparity and social justice. Proverbs speaks both of individual diligence and divine justice. While it warns against laziness, it also reminds us that oppression, unjust scales, and favoritism toward the rich are condemned. In a world of growing inequality, Proverbs challenges both personal responsibility and systemic reform. Our readings bring together feminist theologians, ethicists, and practical theologians. You'll find case studies on how Proverbs is used in public debates on family values or poverty. Critical essays on how to reinterpret Scripture without compromising faith. Pastoral reflections on preaching difficult texts with integrity. By the end of this week, you should feel equipped not to avoid difficult proverbs, but to engage them faithfully, courageously, and contextually. You will be able to help others navigate complex moral questions with biblical wisdom, not by silencing tension, but by transforming it into dialogue, prayer, and discernment. In closing, remember, Proverbs is not a cage. It is a compass. It doesn't trap us in ancient norms but helps us navigate life's moral complexity with holy fear, humility, and love. In teaching even the hardest proverbs, we bear witness not just to a tradition, but to a living wisdom that speaks. still. Thank you, and may your voice be a wise one in the conversations that matter most.